Hello. Welcome to episode 73 of Snakes and the Fatman. Look at it. Look at it. That right there is the best coconut substrate on the fucking planet. Look at this right here. This is also the best coconut substrate on the fucking planet, but it's in a bag. Now this right here is the best coconut chip on the fucking planet. However, it's in a bigger bag. Brick, small bag, bigger bag, whatever. ReptiChip is hands down the best substrate for your reptiles. It's the only substrate I actually use here at the Fat Cave. Why? Because it's the best coconut substrate on the fucking planet and I've been using it for years. And JT Tomlinson, one of my very best good friends, is the president of the company. Want to know something else that JT started? The ReptiLution apparel company that gives 100% of the profits it receives back to the reptile community. There's always people and organizations in this hobby in need of some kind of help, and ReptiLution is being proactive in giving to USR, Herb's Family Fund, anybody in the community that experienced some kind of tragedy. JT, ReptiChip, and ReptiLution is there for them. You see anybody else being proactive like this? Let me answer that for you. No, you don't. Head on over to ReptiChip.com and pick up a bag, a block, a brick, a box even. They're doing boxes. Boxes of ReptiChip now. Pick up a ReptiLution shirt if you're feeling sexy. A lot of fun stuff. They got it all there. Redline Science, tools, shit scrapers. They got everything. It's a one-stop shop, man. You can buy your reptile shit and clothes. Same place. Again, go buy a brick, a bag, box, a shirt, whatever. Just get on it. ReptiChip.com. All right, guys, we're going to talk some herps dates right now, but before I do that, I just want to say congratulations to Lori Gibson, who is opening up her own little shop down there in Bryan. And, of course, if you guys are anywhere near or around Bryan, College Station area, make sure you go see the herp shop. Okay, it's a really fucking cool place. Of course, if you're in Bryan or College Station or surrounding areas, you probably already know. But go fucking to the shop, man. They're going to be in Slidell, Louisiana on April 2nd and 3rd. They're going to be in Beaumont on April 9th and 10th. Look, they're heading all the way down or up or sideways to Temple, Texas, April 16th or 17th. And they're going to be in Austin on April 23rd and 24th. And then they're going to be way like 8 hours away in Amarillo, Texas on May 14th and 15th. Listen, if you guys have any more questions about the herp shows, just fucking email Sean and Lori. Go over to herpshow.net and fucking let them know what an awesome job they're doing. And tell Lori, say congratulations, man. This is a big move for these guys. Fucking, this is where the big boys play, man.
What's going on, everybody? I actually don't have a lot to bitch about this episode. I actually do, but I'm going to save it until the next episode and make it a mega bitch episode, probably. I just had a lot of shit going on personally here. Nothing bad, just busy as fuck and trying to keep these fucking YouTube videos running every 2 weeks. So, yeah, no. This week I just don't got much to complain about. But the nice thing about that is this week we could get right to the content. This episode was actually a lot of fun to do because I got to reconnect with my old friend Ashley Fothrop from England. We got to talk about stories about when she was here years ago. We got to talk about her family a little bit, and we just got to generally just bullshit for an hour. So I really had a great time with this episode. And then Shemeir on 15 Minutes. Shemeir is an incredible new talent. I love the fucking guy. He's so fucking badass and cool. But first, let's talk about Morph Market. Fucking rip the paper. Morph Market has launched the herp events calendar to provide a centralized list for industry events such as expos, as well as US ARC advocacy, Zoom meetings, herp society meetings, and more. It includes an interactive vendor list. John and I were taking a walk along the beach the other day, and as we were holding hands and the sun was setting, I said, John, if you're gonna do this fucking events calendar, you're gonna need to do an interactive vendor list. Otherwise, people won't give a fuck. Anyway, John walked me to my car, kissed me goodnight, and next day, a fucking interactive vendor list is on the fucking events calendar. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's that kind of relationship, being John God. So what you'll be able to find out on this interactive vendor list is who is vending at this expo. Where are they in this gigantic room? Who could sell me a carpet python here? What do the parents of this animal look like? What else can I learn about the seller that makes me want to buy from them? What other animals can I bookmark to make a follow-up purchase after the show? I mean, the people in Morph Market, they think about everything. Also, this week, Morph Market is adding offspring pages. Breeders can track and share their history of clutches and litters, as well as what's cooking in the incubator. Couple of incubator shots, people. I know you're always just fucking trying to stare at Justin's incubator, you're fucking zooming in, trying to figure out what those fucking labels say. Now you could do this yourself, okay? Come and visit Morph Market at NARBC's Tinley Park to get a demo of these things and let them know what you think of all the cool new features.
Snakes and the Fatman proudly brings to you its new breeder segment, 15 Minutes of Lame!
Hey guys, it's Justin at Canova. So in the past few years, Canova's become the top source for amazing ball pythons. Now Chris tells me, Justin, it's time to give back. So we're sponsoring the 15 Minutes of Lame to support the new and upcoming breeders. So jump in here. Let's hear your ideas. Let's hear your thoughts. Maybe you can turn your 15 minutes of lame into 20 years of lame, just like I did. If you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. So bring it.
15 Minutes of Lame!
All right, everybody. I got Shemeir Bernard here from Royal Black Balls. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. I just you are making your debut
on 15 Minutes of Lame after a couple of the open Zoom calls. So you know how this works. We're going to put 15 minutes on the clock. You got 15 minutes to peddle your wares and talk about all the shit that you have going on, and we'll go from there, okay? So it's starting right now. Now, let's talk about the name for a minute because I like the name a lot. I think it's a very subtle nod to it being a black-owned business. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And
No, that's exactly what it is. A lot of people, had to ask about that. You were one of the first that, kind of got that right off the bat.
oh, well, yeah. I mean, how did I not? But my more important question about the name, was it previously a nickname for a body part of yours that you told the ex-girlfriends to call it?
No.
Okay. All right.
That would have been a good story.
All right.
I guess,
well,
but,
well, tell me where the name came from.
So I had wanted to start breeding maybe 10 years ago when I first got into ball pythons. Talked to my wife about starting a company. At the time, I didn't know about all the companies that were out there. And I'm like, man, we got to start this company called I Love Royal Balls, something catchy like that. And then ended up getting rid of my animals when I was traveling with my wife. So I'm just now getting back into it. So the name Royal Balls always stuck with me. And with me wanting to basically create a black-owned business, Royal Black Balls just had such a nice ring to it. You know what I mean? It sounded funky. And so that's the name I went with.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you a solid 8 on the name because it's not something like SB's balls or Bernard's balls. Like there's nothing I hate more than like like those companies that are like visit me online at Suck My Ball Pythons, and it's just the worst, right? So
yeah, I didn't want it to go to sound like that, but I still wanted it to be a little funky, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, Royal Black.
Well, no, I definitely think you accomplished that part of it. You said you were doing this for 10 years and then you stopped to do a little traveling. What was the traveling for?
I was keeping, I didn't actually get into any breeding. This is actually my first year of breeding. So I've been keeping for a while. And so I just now really get an opportunity to start breeding. So.
Okay. And what was the reason that you stopped previously? You said you were traveling. Was your wife military or were you military? What were you traveling for?
No, my wife and I just enjoy traveling, and so I wasn't able to give the care to my animals that I wanted to. I was boarding them or having friends look after them, you know what I mean? So got to the point where I just, I said, let me get rid of these because like I said, I wasn't able to give them the kind of care that I wanted to.
Gotcha. And you said that you've been keeping for a long time, but this is your first year breeding, right? So, but it's not, when did you get back into this? Because obviously you had to grow up some animals before you were breeding them, right?
Yeah. So during COVID.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you started buying again during COVID?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. And how many snakes do you have right now?
Currently about 25.
Okay, so really that's not a huge load, right? Like you could have a day job and still work the ball pythons, as opposed to when you have 200 of them, and it's going to make working a day job a little bit harder,
Right.
And what do you do for a day gig right now?
So I am the HR director at one of the largest churches in the Northeast.
Oh, okay, man, you're doing church work and you're on this dumb dick and fart podcast. Like, oh, this may be an issue at work. Does your wife work the business with you?
Yeah, yep, she does.
Okay.
Yeah. She's a big part of what I do. She's not so much into the cleaning side, but as far as making the decisions with the animals and just what we're keeping here, what we're doing here, she's a big part of that.
Gotcha. Okay, so she's helpful.
Yes, very helpful.
Okay. This question was coming. How much have you put into this
since you started keeping again?
About 25,000.
Where the fuck do young guys like you get 25 grand a clip? How old are you?
I'm 33.
Oh, all right. Well, all right. You're a lot older than you
Yeah.
than you look, man. Jesus
I've had
Christ.
a little bit of time.
I thought you were like 24. Okay, never mind. All right.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad I looked like that.
Have you sold any yet? Have you made any money back?
I've sold one, and it was a snake that my wife added to our collection that we really didn't need. So, I put that on the chopping block. But I haven't really sold anything besides that.
Oh,
yet.
okay, so
this is my first year breeding. Like I said, I'll be dropping some babies this year. So
you're basically in the red. Probably for the next 3 or 4 years. I mean, you probably don't notice yet, but probably 3 or 4 years, and then probably in 2026, maybe you'll be pulling in about a quarter of what you put into it. So it's a fun thing to look forward to, man. Now you haven't had any clutches yet, huh?
No, nope.
Man, you know, guys like you every now and then slip through. And that's like my one rule that I tell people. I'm like, you have to have at least one clutch before you come on here. And like 7 people so far slipped through. And they were like, nah, this is my first year breeding. And I'm like, son of a bitch, I wish you would have told me that before. But it's all right because I like you and your supporter in the Zoom call, you know? So now, all right, so let's talk some sponsors then. Do you use ReptiChip?
I do, yeah. So I use a mixture of paper and cocoa for my animals, and so I definitely use ReptiChip.
Okay, beautiful. Have you ever bought a snake from Justin?
Back in 2011, I brought a bumblebee from him. At the time, I didn't know who I was purchasing from. You know, he wasn't quite Justin Kaboka,
right,
at the time. But I bought a bumblebee for about $600.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, well that's awesome. You're 2 for 2 so far. All right, I'm loving you right now. Well, here's the other thing. Have you ever done a herp show? Obviously, the answer is no. So Sean Gray says "F you" to Shemeir Bernard. Okay.
Hey, well, I am. My friend just moved down to Austin, and I know there's going to be a herp show in April, I believe. So if I can get down there and hit a herp show, I would love to. I've actually been talking to him about it. So he's never been to any kind of reptile expo or show or anything. So, you know, I would love to kind of get down there and line that up.
Sean Gray retracts his previous FU to Samir Bernard. Beautiful. Okay. Have you ever used Blake Stewart for your logo design?
No.
Yeah, I knew you were going to get a big FU from Blake for that. Yeah. Are you on Morph Market yet?
I am on Morph Market, yep.
Okay. John Lehman says, I love you, and he doesn't give you an FU. And I know the answer for the next 2 already. Well, maybe one of them. Have you ever bought a boa from Boa Affliction?
No, I haven't.
Kenny says FU to shit. Okay. And do you have any sea serpent racks in your collection or incubators?
I got 5 sea serpents racks.
Loving it.
And a hot box incubator.
Loving it. I had somebody on last week that every one of the sponsors said F you to. And it's just like, man, you don't even listen to my show. You know, like at least lie to me, right? Like just tell me yes on everything. Oh, no, you got a great score there. So what are the big projects now? Like what's your most expensive animal that you own?
The most expensive animal I own is probably a Pastavi hypo clown. And I know you're not a big fan of hypo, but I personally love hypo with clown. Yeah,
no, I get it. A lot of people yell at me for not liking the hypo. And the truth is that I don't hate the hypo. I just don't give a shit about it. I mean, I wouldn't say even that I give less of a shit about it as I do clown or desert ghost. Like, I don't give a shit about any of them. You know, that's really the whole thing. Hypo just happened to be the one that I globbed onto because I could make that dumb, you know, you may as well date a woman that's always on a period joke.
and that's the only reason I globbed onto hypo. Okay, so all right, so how much was that when you paid for it?
That was 3,500.
Oh, jeez. Not cool, man. Okay. All right. and how many clutches do you think you're having this year?
I'm going for about 8.
Okay. All right. Well, 8 still possibly 50 new animals at your house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know it's going to be definitely a change, a lot of work, but I'm looking forward to it. You know what I mean? I love these animals. Like I said, I've wanted to do this for a while now. And so since this is my first year, I'm kind of going all in, and I'm just really excited about it.
Okay, cool. Well, I can't knock you for trying it, right? So do you have any other species or just ball pythons?
No, I used to have a corn snake. I had a bearded dragon. I got rid of those. But I would like to get a tegu at some point. I'll be moving in about 6 months.
Okay.
And so if I can get a tegu when I move, I'm definitely planning on it.
Well, are you staying in New York?
Yeah. Not too far from where I live now. I'm not moving.
Oh, okay.
Far. Yeah.
Well, that was going to be one of my other questions, right? I mean, it's like normally I say, why should people buy from you when there's so many other named breeders in their state? And I just couldn't really think of anybody in New York that was worth the shit to buy from. I got nothing. So everybody, when Shemeir produces, go buy from Shemeir because I mean maybe Donato Senior. I mean maybe, but I got nothing. There's nothing here. I always joke about the Northeast guys just being like shady fucks, like any Northeast breeder, anywhere from like Vermont down to Philadelphia is just shady and just like that's how they come off. It's like these fat guys with beards down to their belly button who wear shorts in 11-degree weather. Okay, so they all look exactly like you picture them looking in your head if you've never thought about them before, right? But like you're like, yeah, I imagine a Northeast guy like, yeah, being this, and that's exactly how they are.
You usually see them at the expos.
Yeah, well, they're always at the local expos. So, no one, and they don't really leave their area, right? So, like, if they're in New England, they stay in New England. They don't come down to New York or Philadelphia or Vermont. Everybody else around the country drives 8 hours, 9 hours to get to a reptile expo, except the New England people. They're like, yeah, I'm not going to leave Massachusetts, man. I'm wicked. And I'm just like, oh, just stay there, right?
But there's a couple of breeders in New York. You got like Brian from Samson Snakeatorium.
Yeah. I mean, and Brian is awesome. I mean, Brian is actually going to be on a leveling up video with me, doing a bunch of the younger podcast guys. And I love Brian. I mean, Brian is a real like just hardcore Bronx New Yorker. Like he went to, I don't know if he went to my old high school or his son went to my old high school. Took a picture of him in the Snakes and the Fatman shirt, like just in the old auditorium that I used to go to every day of my life.
That's dope.
And I was like, this guy is awesome. But I definitely love him. I love Victor Laureano from. He's from New York, but he's in Florida now, and he doesn't do ball pythons.
I caught you live with him. That was good.
Yeah, he's just a good guy. I mean, there's some good people in the Northeast. There are not many though. All right, but there are a couple of good people, in the Northeast. So, so now if people need to get in touch with you, how do they get in touch with you? Because you're a little bit younger, so you're probably all over the gram and TikTok. You probably don't have a Facebook that you even look at anymore, right? So how can people get in touch with you?
I got a Facebook. Don't use it. Instagram is probably one of the best ways. I'm on Morph Market. Also, I'm on TikTok. You could also reach me at royalblackballsllc@gmail.com.
I have fun just typing that shit. Right? I'm just like fucking. I'm like, I wonder if I did that. If I just named the show like fatty white balls. Like fucking would that bring in more people or less?
You'd get some intrigued. You know what I mean? Some people.
Yeah, not a lot.
What's going on?
Especially ex-girlfriends, they'd be like, your balls are not fat; they're average. Average at best. Okay. All right. So boom, we're hitting 15 right now. So I'm glad that we actually cut you off. So this is good. I don't got to buzz you and tell you just nobody cares, because like a gentleman, you were just like, I'm stopping at 15, Chris. It's all good. I got nothing else to say. But do you have anything else you want to plug or promote while you're here?
No, man, just, tune into our YouTube. I'll be trying to drop some more videos more often. Definitely posting a lot of content on Instagram.
I'm just curious because I just started mine and I literally have one video on it. What do you put on TikTok?
Random stuff, little feeding videos, usually paired up animals. I know there's a bunch of little kids that like seeing stuff like that. I'll get some views on some of my videos for stuff like that. So, yeah.
Well, and TikTok doesn't pay you, right? Like YouTube or anything like that. That's not a thing. People are just going crazy for TikTok views, and they literally just don't get anything out of it.
I'm not sure. I know, people watch. And so I know there's a lot of people that have started TikToks and they've gotten sponsors after or out of it, rather. And so it seems like they're just making content until something gets grabbed up.
Right. That's what it seems like,
Yeah.
So that's actually interesting. All right, good. It's a learning experience for the old fat man here. I fucking signed up for TikTok, and they would, the first couple of screens were just like no, and then I X'd it out, and they're like, "Are you sure?" And I kind of X'd that out, and they're like, "You are way too old and way too fat to be a member of this channel." And then I was like, "I just saw another fat guy on there," So I think I hit some kind of loophole. But at least I'm there, right? Fly it up the flagpole, kids, and see who salutes it. That's the way to do it. Shemeir, thank you so much for doing this, man. I definitely appreciate it. And we're in the same state, so really, hopefully in the next year or so, I'll just have you over at the Fat Cave, and we'll, do a live with, not a live, but, something with you here, and I'll get some other New York guys here, and we'll just do like a little New York round table of just shady breeders. Right. So,
sounds awesome.
It would be fun, man. So thank you, my friend. And I appreciate it. And I will talk to you in a few days. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Snakes in the Fatman proudly brings to you its new breeder segment, 15 Minutes of Lame!
All right, I have a couple of questions for anyone trying to run a business in the reptile industry. Do you ever feel like you're held back by a dated or detailed image? Are you sick of competing on price or convincing people to buy your fucking animals? Are you ready for a change, but not sure where to start? Stewart Design guides ambitious companies to discover and share their meaningful difference and empowers them to reach their greatest potential. If you've been listening to me for a while, you probably know my man Blake Stewart at Stewart Design. If not, I'm certain you've seen the waves they're making within the industry. They've worked with the biggest and baddest players in the game. Stewart Design rebranded ball python extraordinaire Justin Kabilka over at Canova. They also created the brands for Amos Reptiles, my boy Zach Nava, Garrett Hartle with Reach Out Reptiles, as well as many, many more. Not to mention the rebranding and all the work that Blake has donated to US Ark just because of his love for the industry. Stewart Design helps take that dumpster fire shit of a logo you drew in Microsoft Word to a whole new level. Get your big boy pants on because this isn't a game. There are literally thousands of breeders and more coming out every day. So how the fuck will you stand out at Tinley or on Morph Market or at Daytona
Why should anyone buy anything from you when there are literally thousands of other dickheads out there selling the same stuff? If you want to run a real business and not some part-time fucking hobby, you have to stand out and look the goddamn part. If you give a shit about your business and want other people to give a shit about it, get a hold of Blake Stewart over at Stewart Design. Stewart Design is a professional branding agency. Just check out their website to see the list of major national and international awards that they've won. And besides creating kick-ass logos, Stewart Design also designs and prints everything you need to crush your next show, so you don't look like another fucking reject. Business cards, stickers, flyers, table covers, banners, you name it, they got it. Visit sdidentity.com or email info@sdidentity.com to learn more. That's info@sdidentity.com to get started.
All right, fucking Ashley Fothrop, one of the hottest chicks in the industry, raised by the strongest man in the world, fucking Darren Fawthrop, the fucking mountain, and she's just been crushing it lately. She actually grew her dumb ball python breeding business into an insanely successful dumb ball python breeding and supply business, and she's killing it. And that's despite the IHS shows out there going out of their way to do things to hold breeders back. So, go Ashley. Ashley comes from legendary breeders out there. Those legends being Darren and Joanne Fawthrop of D and Joe's Pythons, which we got to talk a little bit about. We got to talk about the times that she was here and we were hanging out at these dumb tattoo conventions and museums and zoos, and we just got a chance to reconnect. So here's my one-on-one with Ashley Fothrop from Ashley's Living Art Ball Pythons.
All right, everybody. I have Ashley Fothrop here from Ashley's Living Art Ball Pythons, who's actually an old friend of mine, and we've been talking for the last 20 minutes, and I forgot to hit the fucking record button. So we're going to start all over. Ashley, what's going on? How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Chris. How are you?
Good. I mean, we just talked about all this shit, so I'm going to force you to talk about it again. You have you come from a long line of ball python people, right? I mean, your father and mother were into this way before really a lot of people were, you know. And I remember you showing me pictures of you like you're 3 years old and your father got like a Burmese python right in front of you or something like that, right? So just I mean, we won't rehash everything again, but tell me again quickly how you decided that you want to do ball pythons for a living, which I think is the most ridiculous fucking thing in the world, but fucking, you know, whatever. When did you decide that you want to do this for you know, full time as opposed to just as a hobby?
Okay, so I've been keeping ball pythons like obviously all my life, but I moved out at 16 and I was not used to not having animals in the house, so I got 2 pets. I got a hamster and a ball python, kept them in separate rooms and everything was fine with that, but then I just gradually over the years kept getting another and another, not with any intention of breeding or anything like that, just purely pets. It was probably when I was 18, I did my first pairing, first clutch, and just one clutch, and it was like that for a while. Any babies I produced, I sort of just sell them through my mum and dad. I didn't have a Facebook page or anything like that. I was just doing it purely as a hobby, just for me. Then things started getting more serious. I don't really know how it happened. The collection just kept growing, and I decided to do it a bit more serious. I think it was 2014, I decided to give myself a name of living out ball pythons and start a Facebook page and stuff like that. So I suppose that was the moment where things became more serious in terms of, right, I'm actually doing this now. And then it was 3 years ago, I decided to do it full time. So quit my job and launched a range of reptile products and went full time with this.
Well, that's what actually surprised me too, because you were here probably in 2017 or 18.
Yeah.
Okay, and you didn't have products at the time. You were just doing ball pythons from your bedroom, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And then the next thing I know, Ashley has these little pink tongs. And then she has these big pink tongs, and then she has purple tongs, and then she has fucking, chrome tweezers and all this other shit. And I'm just like, this is actually pretty cool that you're expanding out from the ball pythons, because it's like, I really don't think you could depend on ball pythons. The people that I know that are really making a ton of money in the business are all supply side people. Right. So they're all, or rat people, like I know a lot of people who do ball pythons for a living, but the rat people and the supply people are really crushing it. They're really, they're doing so much better. Now you started doing all this supply side stuff. What made you think, hey, I got to do more than ball pythons. I'm going to do these fancy ass hide boxes. I'm going to do these fancy ass racks with heat and hides, built into it. I'm going to do the tongs and all this other shit. Like what made you decide? Let me do supplies as well as ball pythons.
Okay, so before going full time with this, I was a full time social worker and doing the snakes as well. So it was it was a massive risk to, well, as it is for anybody when they decide to go full time with something like this, to get rid of that steady income and just rely on the ball pythons. And at that time, my collection's grown so much in this last 3 years alone. So I was a bit worried. I was thinking, right, okay, I know there's times of the year where I'm waiting on eggs hatching, sort of this time of year now where you're waiting for all the new stuff to come and you don't really have that much available. So I thought I need something just to kind of help those times. So I've got an income sort of all year round. And I wanted some cool stuff. Like I wanted some cool reptile stuff. I didn't want to feed my snakes with the boring silver tongs. Like I was bored of everything. And I thought there's nothing cool out there like snake supply wise. So I spoke to a few people, looked into some stuff, and I think the first products I brought out were black and pink tweezers and tongs, and then the same in hides. And it just went really, really well. People really sort of liked them and thought it was different and a cool idea. So then that just gradually increased. I think I do 5 different colours in most stuff now. I have setups for ball python keepers because I was getting a lot of new keepers coming to me, and they didn't know how to keep them, and I was sending them links for rubs, links for heat mats, links for thermostats, and I just thought there must be an easier way. So I designed my own full setup kits which come with everything that you need. I did a hatchling one, which is kind of bigger than a hatchling needs, but we put a divider in there so they can use it with a divider initially, then take the divider out. And then I did the next size up for sort of your sub-adult and adult ball pythons. I'm just constantly trying to think of new ideas and bring more stuff out. I've probably got another 10, 11 products lined up that'll be coming out over the next month or two.
Okay, so, and your dad actually had a company building racks and delivering
snakes. Like I remember you guys. I remember that fucking giant van that you guys had because over in England, I mean, you could basically drive the country in a day, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so you guys would have this heated van with racks in the van for
mhm.
specific animals that were being delivered, and you guys were basically like a FedEx for snakes, you
Yeah,
know, and I remember that your dad had a bunch of, I think, monitors too, you know, at his place, or
yeah.
one big monitor. Um, so how much is he a part of the supply stuff? What, like, does your dad build the racks that you sell now, or the starter kits, or do you just get them from somewhere else? And
Yeah, no, my dad, I mean, he supports me no end in everything I do, but he's got kind of no involvement in anything like that now. My mum and dad are happy just doing the snakes now. I mean,
right,
the courier business, delivering the snakes is a nightmare. Like
I remember.
anyone over here who runs a courier business, they will know it is nothing but stress. Um, so it was like, it's just not worth it. It's more stress than it's worth. So they closed that down and just focused on the snakes then. But we have a fantastic courier that we use called Bridgeway. And the guy who owns Ridgeway, Simon Ling, is like a really, really good friend of mine. He's one of my best friends. So he couriers all our animals now. He also supplies pretty much the whole of the UK with their rodents and anything you need, really.
Okay. Now, and you have a big website now too, which you didn't have back when you came here. I mean, God, you got so much going on right now. You took a little. I don't remember if we talked about this in the fucked up version or if we talked about it here. You took a little sideline with your fucking your working out bullshit, right? Where you basically took it to the next level, and you're fucking dragging trucks behind you and fucking carrying bowling balls and moving boulders. Like it was very Rocky in Russia in Rocky 4, like training that you were doing it. Like you weren't training. Yeah, you weren't training with like actual like state of the art gym equipment or all that. You were fucking carrying rocks and fucking doing this crazy bullshit where I would see all these videos of your father and
Screaming
your
at
father
me.
screaming at you. Yeah, it was so what made you decide to do that? And were you doing the snakes and everything in while this was going on, because you were training
A lot.
a couple hours a day, right? So
Yeah, well, I was doing the snakes full time. So other than the snakes, I don't really have much going on. So I just wanted to get into fitness, really. I wanted to lose some weight, get healthier. So I started going to the gym with my friend, and we were just doing like fitness awful stuff, running and stuff like that, which I don't like doing at all. And obviously my dad used to compete in like the World's Strongest Man when I was a kid. So I asked my dad if he'd come down to the gym with me and show me how to use all the real gym equipment and lift the weights and things like that. So we started doing that, and I loved it. So we were training. I think we were doing about 4 days a week in the beginning. And as things started progressing and I was getting stronger, we started talking about competing, and it just happened one afternoon. We just decided to have a look at what competitions were on in the UK that we could get to. We found one, so we started training towards that, booked on to do that. And then lockdown came, and the lockdown hit one day before my competition was due to run in the UK. So that was awful, because before you compete in a strongman competition, you train so hard. You're in like a 12-week training camp. So you eat, sleep, everything's just training. And then for the week before, you do nothing. to let your body recover so that you're kind of at your optimum strength on the day.
Right.
So for that week before, I didn't sleep. I was just pacing the house, like full of nerves. And then, it didn't even happen. So I wasn't happy. But then lockdown lifted. We were quite lucky because where my dad used to build his racks, he still owns the building and it's empty. There's nobody in there. So we bought loads of strongman equipment, like what they use in the competitions for me to train with. So we moved all that into my dad's big empty warehouse, and me and my dad just continued training, just us two on his own, getting ready. And as soon as lockdown lifted, they re-announced the competitions, and I went in, did the first one, and won all 5 events and won the competition overall. And it were brilliant. Off the back of that one, I got invited to compete in England's Most Powerful Woman, but I only had like 4 weeks to train for that from the first competition, and this one was against professional strong women who do this full time, and they're huge, absolutely huge, and they've all competed like 15, 20 times before. So I didn't do very well in that. I didn't come last, but I didn't do very well. It was pouring down with rain. I don't know if you'll have seen the videos on Facebook or not, but I actually slipped doing one event in the rain, slipped in a big puddle, and I was carrying what they call a farmer's walk. So I had 75 kilos in each hand running with it, and I slipped, and the front end of what I was carrying went through my shoe, through my toe, broke my toe. And that was only like the second event. So then I had to do all the rest of the events, but it was fun.
Well, and now what's going on with the training now? Because I got to be honest, you're looking a little chubby, but it's just like I just like, are you still doing? What's that?
The camera's 10 pounds, Chris. Come on.
No, obviously I'm fucking with you, but are you still doing the training or no?
Yeah, well, what happened, I got injured last December in training. So it was just after the second competition. I got injured. I've torn quite a lot in my shoulder. So I tore my rotator cuff. I tore my bicep tendon. I tore my trap at the back, and I tore my pectorals. So it was literally everything that surrounds your shoulder I tore. But because of COVID and everything, you just couldn't get into hospital. I paid for like private physio because I was just in so much pain all the time. I was still trying to train, but the pain was just unreal, and I was just getting weaker and weaker. Eventually the hospital saw me after 8 months. I had to wait 8 months for a scan, and obviously they confirmed everything. So now I'm just waiting. I actually go to see the specialist on Thursday next week to see what they're going to do about it. So then as soon as I'm fixed up, I will be back in training, because it's killed me. It's a nice little release from everything to go training.
Right. Well, so that's the way your guys' medical system works, huh? You wait 3 months for a fucking appointment. Thank God you didn't have cancer, right? Like fucking, is that normal there, that you have to wait that long to see a doctor?
Not before COVID, no. But since all this, with the virus, it's horrendous here. The NHS system is really, really struggling, and you just can't get appointments. You can't get appointments. It was a shoulder. I can survive. So I think I was probably put to the back of the list, and because they knew how I'd done my injury as well, they probably pushed me even further down the list. But yeah, it's still really bad. My nana at the moment is waiting for, they told her she needed an emergency, like CT scan, but she's got to wait 4 weeks.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So it's like, that's how it is. But I suppose
the funny thing is that it's really not all that different here now, because of the COVID patients and all this other shit. But you never know really what to believe. So it's like, it's fun to hear, or not fun, but it's nice to hear that other places are having similar problems. But now back to this dumb ball python shit, right? You have about 400 animals right now, I think.
Oh no, I have like 250 right now, and then babies. So
Well, and how many babies do you have?
at the moment, I think I've only got like 60 babies left from last year, because the last ones were hatching out in like December time. So a lot of them are going soon. I've still got quite a few on Morph Market. But yeah, so now I'm just waiting for all the new eggs to start coming. But it's going to be my biggest, obviously, but it's going to be my biggest season yet. I've got like 108 females good to go this season. So hopefully.
Oh my God. Do you have the room there to fit 108? You know, I mean, that's obviously, you know, if let's say 100 of those go,
Yeah.
you're going to have minimally 500 babies, right? So
Yeah.
do you have the space there to add 500 babies?
Yeah, like I mean, my babies always stagger, so I normally start getting eggs like end of January. It's a little bit late this year, but I've got a couple of girls that are just going into pre-lay shed, so they're coming. They're going to be here in February. But normally I have eggs still getting laid up until December, so it's really nice and spread out, which makes it more manageable. So yeah, as new clutches are hatching, other clutches are, you know, moving on or moving into the whole back rack. So it should be okay.
Let's talk about the dumbass rules that your shows have there, because you're a show person, right? But the shows in England, you can't promote yourself, right? So you can't wear shirts that say Ashley's Living Art Ball Pythons, right? You can't sell anything with the spider gene in it, right? To tell me some of the other dumb rules that nobody has to abide by here in America or anywhere else.
Well, how it works is if you're a hobbyist, you can sell animals at the shows, but you can't advertise yourself like you say. So no table covers, no t-shirts, no banners, no logos, basically nothing like that.
So how do people even know who the fuck you are?
They don't, unless you've got a big social media presence and people recognize you. They don't, as a hobbyist.
Right.
So that was obviously, I used to do the shows back then, so I'd take the snakes, but I couldn't do anything. What I'd have to do before the show opened was take a photo of me behind the table and be like, you know, this is us, we're here, this is whereabouts we are. But, you know, who checks the social media really, like before they're coming to the show to say, oh, let's see where everybody is. But then when I became a business, the rules are different for businesses. So I'm not allowed to sell animals at the shows, full stop. I'm not allowed them behind my table. Like, say someone's bought one off me the week before and wants to collect at the show. No.
Right.
But I can advertise myself. So I can wear t-shirts now. I can have banners up. I can have table covers, which I do to the extreme now because I never could before. And because I'm not allowed to sell animals now, I just go with the products. So I just go with the products to the shows and sell them there.
Wait a minute. So as a business, you can't take 50 snakes and sell them at the reptile show, at the snake show. As a business, they don't allow that.
Yeah, that's right. So you can only sell them if you're not a business, if you're a hobbyist breeder. If you're a business, then no. You can take animals to display only as a business, but then you can't take products as well. So for me, it was like, right, I either take a load of animals, stress them all out, pack them all up, take them down to the show, then pack them all up again, bring them home, or I take my products and sell them there. So it was a no-brainer, really.
It just sounds fucking so ass backwards there. Like, because at the shows here, of course, they're allowed to sell animals, but yet the supply people all crush it every fucking show, right?
Yeah.
Like the supply people are really the ones that make the money, right?
Yeah.
But
then you have to say, do I want to sell, 15 or 20 tongs for $20 a piece, or do I want to sell one snake for $5,000?
Yeah.
So is there a way for you to maybe do, like, set up two tables where you're a hobbyist on one table and at another table, like 2 rows over?
Well, if I got someone else to maybe take my snakes, but now we've said that on air, then no. Because you would literally just receive a ban. If you were caught doing that, you'd be banned. You'd be banned from the shows. But to be fair, I miss taking the snakes, and every show, everyone always comes up and they're like, Ashley, where's your snakes? Why haven't you brought any snakes? And you get fed up of explaining to people, well, now I'm a business, I'm not allowed to bring the snakes, so I just bring the products. But I do well. The products do really, really well at the shows, so it's I'm not losing out.
Right.
I advertise myself when I'm there. I have huge banners that have my Morph Market on and things like that. And I've got an app now, so I have like the what do you call it? What are them square things that you?
Right. Credit card things. Yeah.
Right. I have a QR code, so people can just download the app and then see all the snakes I have available. So it works okay. But
my God, so fucking stupid.
But there are more shows appearing over here now. So this is the IHS shows. For years, and I mean years, like 20 years or so, more, there was only the IHS. Those were the only shows in this country, and that happened. It used to be 3 times a year, but then they increased it to 4. I haven't actually been to any of the other shows because they are quite far from me. But there is little ones, nowhere near on the same size as the IHS shows, but they are starting up. So, and I think they would allow me to sell animals there. So this year I'm going to look into more of these new shows that are starting to come through and try get myself to some of them.
So it's only IHS rules that don't allow you to sell animals as a business. It's not overall like...
It's not like law. It's just IHS, yeah.
Those guys,
but I mean, I think they have reasons behind it. They have stuff to do with like the animal rights people and stuff like that. But I don't see how being a hobbyist selling a snake is different to a business. You're still selling a snake.
Yeah, it's just a dumb fucking idea, right? It's just like why even try to get to the place of being a business if they're holding you back from being a business and not allowing you to sell animals at a fucking show. Like I know that any of the big breeders here, I don't even know if they would go to the shows if they weren't allowed to sell this. Snakes,
I think that's pretty much what happens. Like over here now, it is more a hobbyist thing. These shows now, so the products work really well for me at the shows. So I do it for that because it works. So why not? But a lot of the bigger guys don't tend to go. So I mean, my mum and dad don't do the shows anymore. They don't go. They might pop in and say hello to me, but they are having tables there and stuff like that because you're literally just displaying animals, which is nice, but people can come to the house and see them if they want. They can come and visit the facility, so which is better than just seeing 12 animals on the table.
Right. Well, and now you have a ton of products now, right? You have the tongs, you have the rat cages, you have the ball python enclosures for like a new pet. You have that fucking we lost the war coconut chip that you fucking use out there. It's like fucking you don't use ReptiChip. I don't know why you don't use ReptiChip, but we'll put you in touch with a good guy there. And like who would you like? Where do you keep the all the supplies? Do you keep them at the warehouse at your dad's old place, or do you keep them at home?
So it's split. All the big products, the setup kits, the substrates, all that kind of stuff are all kept down at the warehouse. But but I do keep a small stock, and well, I mean, all my main stock is down there, and then I just keep a little small stock at home for when people are coming and collecting a snake. You know, you get a lot of people saying, "Oh, and I need a hide, I need a divider, I need this, I need that." So it's handy just having them at home, and I like to keep a supply at home because, I mean, I do everything myself, like the snakes, the products. It's just me. So every morning I package all my orders up and stuff. So it's handy having a supply at home. So I'm not having to go to the warehouse, bring stuff home, get them ready, ship them out.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm trying to work on better ways to do this because the products are getting bigger and bigger. My range is getting bigger and bigger. And I don't have the space to keep some of everything at home. So I probably need to start working down at the warehouse and operating that side from down there. But I'm figuring it all out at the minute.
Now, would you say that you're one of the bigger ball python names in England right now?
I would say, I think so, yeah.
You could say it. No, you could totally say it. Be like, fuck yeah, I am. Who are some of the other bigger people out there right now? Because I'll admit, I know very little about England other than like, you know, your dad and mom, Gavin, maybe. And that's really it. So who are some of the other guys? Like shout out some other big ball python breeders.
Okay, there's Dorset Pythons. They're brilliant, and I love their stuff. They work a lot with like the super gravelly kind of stuff. Dorset Pythons are a big name here. There's like urban constrictors, crystal palace reptiles, Ridgeway. Ridgeway are a really big breeder. They're like heavy on pied. Everything's pied, or pied ghosts, pied clowns. Everything's got pied in it. But there's not that many like full-time breeders over here. Okay. You know, it's like more of a hobby thing. Or there's like guys that have pet shops, you know, that breed ball pythons as well, but sort of have all the other animals in the pet shops. I don't know if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's really anybody else doing what I'm doing. I might be wrong, but I don't think there's anybody else doing it like I do it. So,
please excuse this brief interruption for a word from one of our sponsors. How fucking thrilled am I to have Focus Cubed Habitats joining the Snakes in the Fatman family. They are literally the best display cages that I've ever owned. I was a fan of this husband and wife team of builders from when they were putting out these amazing pieces of fucking art from their garage. Stephen and Ashley have been keeping reptiles for years, and as experienced keepers, they understand how important your animals are in your life. Focus Cubed Habitats provide security and comfort for your animals while maintaining these insane, badass designs that everyone can appreciate. They give you the opportunity to make their home part of your home. You want options? They've got options. Every Focus Cubed Habitat is custom made to your specs, and you could choose from hundreds of options on their website. Too many options? Ashley and Stephen have a huge selection of blog-style articles and complete accessory fact pages on their website to help educate consumers about add-ons that will best fit their individual needs. Listen, at the end of the day, these fucking cages are showpieces. Every cage that Focus builds will be the centerpiece of your reptile room. Hell, they could be the centerpiece of your fucking living room. If you have reptiles that you want to display, look no further than Focus Cubed Habitats. You can follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and even fucking TikTok. Or just go old school and go right to FocusCubedHabitats.com and tell them that the Fat Man told you to drop them a line. Would you say that you're like the Canova of England?
No. But one day One
All
day,
right.
mate. That's
One
the
day.
dream.
Okay. All right. Now, at the end of the day, let's talk a couple of sponsors here. So, obviously, you use Morph Market, and that's kind of new for you, right? Because you just got on Morph Market.
No. Well, I've been using Morph Market like at least 5 years, but I only just became a member. I only
Gotcha.
just like paid the membership. I mean, I struggled like to see what the advantages were for me in the UK becoming a paid member. I tried reading all the info, but I think it's really kind of geared for more like you guys in America, like how the packages are written up,
Right.
because we don't have like limited inventories over here. So it was like, well, I can list as many snakes as I like. And so, but I spoke to the guys, a really great guy, Tom Eagle. He has Eagle Reptiles over here and he works with Morph Market over here. And I just said, look, I'm not being rude, but can you tell me why I should, like, what would be the benefits for me? And he did. He was brilliant. He literally sent me an email with so much information and so much stuff that I didn't even know that I could do on Morph Market.
Right.
So yeah, I signed up to that, and I'm a member now, and I've done all the extra little bits I can on there, and working on videos for all the inventory and stuff. So
Okay.
I love
And have you ever bought a snake from Justin over at Canova?
I haven't yet, but I was just emailing them this weekend after a couple of snakes off them. So, but the ones I wanted, they can't sell to me because they haven't opened up for like the shipments for a few weeks.
Right.
For what comes over to the UK. So they're going to hit me up in a few weeks' time with what I'm after. Because, so hopefully. But, that'll be my first ones from them.
Just tell him you're my buddy. He'll be up, right?
Like, it wasn't Justin I was talking to. It was Summer, I think her name was, who must work.
Summer, yes, does most of their social media there. So, and she takes the photos and all that other shit. So, let's see. You obviously don't use the logo design company, Stewart Design, because you're in another fucking country. So why would you? You're not into boas, so you don't use Boa Affliction. Well, why would you? You're in another fucking country and you don't do boas. You've obviously never been to a herp show, because if you've been to a herp show, you'd realize what bullshit fucking IHS shows are over there. So if you ever come back, we'll make sure that you go to a herp show.
Definitely, because we went to some shows, didn't we? But there were only small shows when I was out there. Yeah, there was small.
I remember you we went to the tattoo convention when you were here. And
yeah, we did. And you got really annoyed.
Oh my God, I was so pissed off because we go to the tattoo convention because we met Danny there. Yeah, Danny was getting a tattoo, right? And Danny, obviously, some guy flew in from Poland and Danny had to get him, right? So we walk in there and Danny's fucking got his shirt off. He's on his side, getting a tattoo. And it was in an airplane museum, right? So
so cool.
It was cool because they were, just like tattoo artists were set up like underneath these World War II planes and fucking, all this other shit. So Ashley then says, I think I want to get a tattoo, right? So I'm like, motherfucker, I only wanted to be here like half an hour, right? So I'm like, yeah, sure. She came all the way from England. I figure it's her only time, right? And it's like 11 in the morning right now, right? When this actually happens. So you get the tattoo, you talk to the guy and you're like, all right, so we could get the tattoo, but he can't do it until 2:00, right? So I'm like, oh, motherfucker. So now we're here at least until 2, right? you get the tattoo. I think it ends up being like 4:00, right?
Yeah.
Well, it took about 2 hours to get, I think, right?
Oh yeah, so or even more than that. I think it was even later than that.
Really? Okay. Well, yeah. So I'm getting angry now. Like I've been out to the car twice already and like took a nap. So I come back in and it's finally like 4 or 5 o'clock. And tattoo looks great. It looks fucking nice, right? So Ashley goes, yeah, no, and I'm like, so we could leave now, right? And Ashley's like, well, he kind of the tattoo guy said he'd like to, put this in
You
the
wanted to enter it in the
competition.
competition, didn't
Yeah.
you?
And I'm like, what time is that? and, and Ashley's like, oh, it starts at 8 o'clock tonight. And I'm like, motherfucker. Like we went there at 11 in the morning. I expected to be home by like 12:15, right? And we were still there at fucking 8 o'clock at night. And the funny thing is that your guy ended up winning. And Danny's, who like paid the guy like $5,000 for his tattoo, didn't even place. You know,
I got that huge skateboard trophy, if you remember.
yeah,
it.
you got the big skateboard trophy. I remember that. But inside, I was happy for you, but I probably wasn't showing it outside because I was so mad. I was just like, we just wasted a whole day.
I don't even think you spoke to me in the car.
Yeah, no, I don't think I did. I was just like, motherfucker, right? And then the next day, actually, the whole time you were here was miserable for me, okay? I gotta be honest. The next day, we go to the zoo, right? And we gotta walk, like, my legs were killing me, right? Like, walking around the Bronx Zoo. Like, we went everywhere in the Bronx Zoo. Like, whenever I go to the Bronx Zoo, I see the reptile house, the tigers, the bears, and I leave, right? and I'm in and out in like an hour, right? We were there all fucking day. Okay?
Yeah, all day.
Then the next day, or this might have started it, we went to the Museum of Natural History.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
And that place is massive, right? And then the next day, you were sick, like you were really,
really
like
ill.
you had a fever, and you're like, Chris, I feel so poorly. And I'm like,
I think I was like crying. You have to go get me loads of like medicine, loads of tablets and all sorts of stuff. And I was there was tissues everywhere. I was so ill. And I was ill for the rest of the trip then, wasn't I? That was it.
Yeah, it was because you were sick even at the airport, so so I'm like, man, she's never gonna come back again. For as mad as I was for most of the trip, we did laugh a lot.
Oh,
Like it was really fun. But now back to this other ball python shit. What are your projects? Because I know your dad is in deep with Kevin over at Nerd. And they do like the microscale stuff. Now, are you doing stuff like that, even though a lot of the scaleless projects kind of went to shit over the last couple of years?
Not so much. Like I do a little bit with microscale, but not much. I'm more like, I mean, I've got loads of different projects, but I'm looking really at the clown, desert ghost, pied, and then like the super gravel kind of stuff.
Okay.
That's where my like main focuses are. But then I think I've got like this season we've got 23 breeder males. I've got 23 breeder males, so 23 different projects. And we've got some double recessive stuff going on. Clown pied ghost, clown ghost, all sorts of stuff.
Do you export at all or no? Do you sell mainly in country?
Just in the UK, yeah. I mean, it is actually something that's on my to-do list, like to figure the hell out, how do I do that?
Right.
I can't even now, because when we left, like with Brexit and stuff, when we left the EU, we can't even ship in the EU. Like we used to sell loads of stuff. We used to send loads of stuff to like Ham and Houghton. We can't even do that now. So it is like, you can get stuff in, but getting stuff out is so much harder. So I need someone that's already doing that over here to help me out and tell me what I need to be doing, because that is over the next couple of weeks what I'm going to be looking into. How do I ship, worldwide? Because I get a lot of my following is actually in America, like on Instagram and stuff like that. So I constantly get messages saying, I love this snake. How much is the shipping to me in California or wherever? And like, I'm really sorry, I can't. I can send products out there, but I can't send animals. So something I'm looking into, but whether it's possible or not, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I know. You sent me some of the pink tongs. I still got them right over there. Yeah. Yeah. um, but I never used them because I'm like, oh, this is from Ashley. I'm not going to use it to pick up rats. I'm going to keep it on the wall over here and just, kind of, So now on my gray wall is a pair of pink tongs that,
Love it.
But also, your dad and mom are doing this full time also, right?
Yeah. They've
So
been full
basically, you
time.
have a family that's doing it full time.
Yeah. Anyway, it's great. I mean, it's really strange because we actually live opposite each other as well now. Like I moved opposite them 10 years ago. So you'd think that like we were really like we see each other all the time, but we're all that busy. You'd think
Right.
we lived miles away,
Right.
But it is really helpful because, if I need to go away or something like that, mum's only over the road. So she'll come look after my animals and vice versa. So it's handy. And they started me in this, they taught me everything I needed to know for breeding, incubating, all that kind of stuff. And then I just developed then. And I think like I help them a bit more now. Like they'll help me with anything I need. But I think the age difference and like the social media side of stuff and things like that. Yeah, I'll help them or say, look, I'm going to try doing this. Why don't you guys try doing this? And so we help each other a lot.
Okay. Yeah. No, I would imagine. I mean, your dad, for a fucking 9-foot tall, 400-pound, terrifying dude, is probably one of the nicest dudes, that I've ever met. I fucking, we still bullshit on fucking Facebook every now and then. So, it's definitely very cool. I mean, Kevin told me about your dad, how they call him the Mountain from fucking Game of Thrones. Because
but nobody over here calls him that.
Yeah, I know, but Kevin calls him that. And when Kevin was talking about him one time, I knew exactly who he was talking about. Well, like just because I knew your dad, I didn't even have to ask. But you've really like grown away from like just being D and Joe's daughter's ball python place. You really just kind of expanded out and made your own path in the whole snake and supply thing.
But that was hard. That was really hard. Like it took a lot of years for people to take me seriously. Like in all honesty,
I believe it. Yeah.
What do you mean?
well, no, because it would be like if like Justin's son went out and started doing ball pythons, everybody's like, oh, they're just buying from him because he's Justin's son, So I would imagine, you had to probably go through a lot of that as well.
Yeah, and a lot of, there wasn't many women in the industry over here anyway, like when I started, not at all. And there is a lot more now, which is great to see. But yeah, so it took a long time to really get people to take me seriously. But now people know me and they don't know my parents, and I'm like, it works.
Oh yeah, that's the way it is. I mean, unfortunately, that's the way it's going with a lot of the older school ball python people and reptile people in general. Like, if you go to Tinley Park here and you ask 20 people who Ralph Davis was, I'm willing to bet that 11 of them never heard of him. But that's just the way it goes.
I mean, they are really trying. Like, I mean, I was managing my mum and dad's like social media and all their sales for quite a few years, because dad just found it stressful. Like he doesn't like people really.
Right. I remember you were doing it when you were here. That's what that was what you were doing. Yeah.
But I stopped doing that now. I mean, it's a struggle for me because I'm so busy with my own snakes and the products and everything. So they've taken back over doing all that themselves now. And, they're really sort of trying, like they're putting videos out all the time. And we were talking about YouTube the other day. So I think I'm going to start up on YouTube. I think they're going to do the same. So hopefully, it kind of works for them, because I think that's the only reason why is just the social media side of things, and that's definitely an age sort of thing, because it's all new. I mean, I only joined Instagram about 3 years ago.
Oh yeah, I only. That's about when I joined Instagram too, and I don't even use Instagram the right way. Like all I do is like I'll post on Facebook and then I'll just copy that post and put it on Instagram. And my 16-year-old niece is like, dude, you're really not using Instagram. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm totally using it. And she's like, no, you're not, you idiot, right? So I think I'm gonna have my niece handle all my Instagram stuff now. But also I just started a TikTok to really try and keep up with the kids.
I heard you tell us talking about that on one of the other podcasts. I need to follow you on TikTok. I'll have to do that.
That is just the dumbest shit.
Do you know what? I think it's hilarious. I love TikTok.
Well, that's why I'm doing it, because it's like it gives me this avenue to make people laugh a little bit more, But I still only have one fucking video up there, and I started it in January. I'm like, if I post one video a month, I'm never gonna fill this thing up.
No. Well, I mean, I ain't got a TikTok for this. I do a TikTok for me, and it's all just like the training. It's all the strong woman stuff. My TikTok, but I'm going to start one for the snakes, I think. So I'll have a living out ball pythons TikTok at some point.
It's funny because I know dudes that basically just sell every snake they have on Instagram. Like before it even hits Morph Market, it's sold because there's so many followers on Instagram. Even YouTube, they just buy the snakes right. They get in touch with the person right away, and it's sold before they even list it on Morph Market. So it's definitely the way to go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I tend to do, like, I'll have waiting lists for most stuff, especially like for any recessive females and stuff like that. I've always got waiting lists going. Like, people don't pay to go on it, but when I've got the genes that they're looking for, I'll message them, let them know, so then just never get advertised. But I try and make it fair, so like I put everything on Morph Market before I put it on social media, and then just share the Morph Market link, and then it's whoever gets there first, really.
Well, and also you're pretty tech heavy with your company, right? So you're on all these different platforms. You have your own app, like fucking people could just look on the phone and order shit from your app, right? So, I mean, you're really doing it in a way that, like you almost know you're going to be successful before you're successful because you're doing all the right things, So, so if anybody needs anything, like basically anything in England, and if you don't need a snake, and you like Ashley's pretty fucking pink tongs or pink tweezers or fucking, shit like that, she could ship that shit over to you if you're in America. Now, Ashley, how could people get in touch with you?
They can get in touch through the website, livingoutballpythons.co.uk, Facebook, Instagram, email, the app. You can download the app for free from Google Play and the iTunes store, whatever it's called. Anywhere. You can get in touch with me everywhere.
Okay, Ashley, thank you so much for taking the time and hanging out with me for a little while. I fucking miss you. I hope you come back soon. I actually might be out by you this year, so I'll let you know. Yeah. That would be fun because you're gonna want to take me places. And I'm just gonna be like, nah, I'll just stay at the hotel. Like we could just.
You just moan. Like I remember when we went to the zoo. The minute your foot stepped out of the car and hit the floor, you're like, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm finished. I'm done here. Yeah, like we didn't even go. Did we go to the casino or anything? Like no fun places.
We went to the casino because I had a big win.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you
like
fucking
$100.
Yeah, like that's fucking unbelievable. Like you won some money and then you weren't even like, I'm gonna let it ride. You were just like, I'm taking that fucking money.
I didn't gamble anymore. You lost loads, and I was like, no, I'm kidding. I'm rich now. I'm keeping my winnings.
Oh my God, you're fucking so fucking funny. Ashley, I love you to death, and I totally miss you. So thank you for coming
I
on.
do.
Man,
Keep in touch now.
yeah, no, you fucking rock. Thank you so much, babe. I will talk to you soon, and we'll go from there. Okay?
Okay, perfect. Thanks very much for having me on, Chris.
No problem, babe. Take it easy.
All right, bye.
Here at Snakes and a Fat Man, we're huge supporters of diversity. We're proving that point here by having our first ever boa breeder as a sponsor on the show. Boa Affliction has been around since 2010, and when they saw the VPI T-positive gene, they immediately shifted their focus and decided to make not just visually stunning albino boas, but they quickly realized that the T-positive snows and sunglows really stood apart from the T-negative albinos that were available at the time. This original VPI gene has maintained its place in the market for the last 10 years and shows no sign of slowing down. Here's the thing. When you invest into your 401k, a 401k for all you ball python people is a fund that you invest in for your retirement. But when you invest in a 401k, you just don't invest in Walmart. You invest in Amazon, Verizon, Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. That's all we're trying to say here. 100% of your collection doesn't have to be ball pythons. Throw a few boas in there and be part of a different type of cool crowd. And when you do that, invest with Kenny over at Boa Affliction. Great, no bullshit guy with an awesome website. And how in the fuck am I gonna say no to a guy who uses this chick in his promo picture? Can't do it. Can't do it. I tried everything. Go check out Kenny today at boaaffliction.com. Sticking with my supporting of diversity, I actually hired a millennial to handle all my social media, but I had to fire him because he didn't show up for work. So I'm just going to leave this picture up here for a little while longer. Guys, thanks again for sticking around for the whole episode. We drop podcasts on the 1st and the 15th of every month, and we do the open Zoom call for reptile keepers every 2 weeks. We've been continuing that steadily since the first of the year. The next one is going to be, March 27th. Also, if you're in a position to help the channel grow, visit us on Patreon at patreon.com/snakesandthefatman, where you'll get exclusive videos and back-end stuff about the show and all the other fun bullshit. It's, anywhere from $5 to $20 a month, depending on what tier you pick. So I hope to see you guys there. My handles on all social media are Snakes and the Fat Man or Chris Eaton on Facebook. But most everywhere else, it's Snakes and the Fat Man. I know I owe you guys a few TikTok videos. There's just so much shit to get done, and it's hard. It's hard when you got a real job, okay? Maybe I could figure out a way in the future to make a real living off this dumb dick and fart joke podcast. But until then, got to work the real job, so I'm going to be behind on TikTok videos. I don't know what to tell you. Oh, and for all you fucking maniacs heading out to Tinley this week, fucking be careful, stay safe, fucking have a great time, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Take it easy. Everyone talks their own shit about what kind of racks you should buy. Metal racks are great, but everyone doesn't want a goddamn 7-foot high, 6-foot wide, 2,000-pound metal rack in their fucking house. That's a 2-refrigerator footprint, man. 2 fucking refrigerators. Sea Serpents makes insane quality racks that could fit anywhere. They're stackable PVC racks that are living room friendly, and they're shipped fully assembled with heat tape already installed. Just plug it into a thermostat and you're ready to go. When we had the shop, we had over 20 Sea Serpent racks there before they ever became a sponsor of Snakes and the Fat Man. I don't breed much anymore these days, but I still have a few racks here in my house, and you could be goddamn sure that they're Sea Serpents. Oh, and they also make hot box incubators.
Probably the best reptile incubators made in America. At the height of our breeding business, we had 4 4-foot hotbox incubators. And again, I still have a small hotbox incubator here in case anything I keep actually does breed. Go to seaserpents.com and check out their incredible selection of PVC racks and tell Chris Nettles that the Fatman sent you.